Well, Tuesday is going to mark exactly 10 years since police opened fire on striking mine workers in Marikana. 34 were killed and almost 80 others sustained serious injuries. At least 10 others, including police officers, were killed in protest-linked violence leading up to the tragedy. Families are still waiting for justice and compensation. Our reporter Moloko Moloto is in Marikana in the northwest ahead of the 10th anniversary tomorrow. Joining us now live from the ground. Good afternoon, Moloko. I would guess preparations are well underway for the anniversary tomorrow.
Good afternoon, Braden. Indeed, there's a hive of activity here at the Kopi in Marikana. The Kopi is the place where the 34 miners were shot and killed by the police on that fateful day, the 16th of August in 2012. It's been 10 years, Braden, and it just feels like it was last week or even last year. And of course, over the years, we have seen eNCA leading in terms of the commemoration each and every year. And this year, as they are marking 10 years since that tragedy, there is going to be a huge commemoration event here. We understand they expect thousands and thousands of people to come here tomorrow as they will be marking the 10th anniversary. Of course, as you correctly said, there are so many questions that remain unanswered. We heard last week the Solicitor General saying that up to so far, they have paid approximately 170 million rand to the families of the 34 miners who were killed for loss of income support, but also they have had to pay the workers who were arrested following that particular massacre, which was a wrongful arrest as well as malicious prosecution. However, there are 17 people who remain in the courts having to answer for the death of the 10 people who were killed before the massacre. Of course, yesterday we managed to speak to some of those, the two gentlemen who are part of the 17, who said, look, if the state really had a winning case against us, it's been 10 years now, it should have been able to convict us. But let us now bring matters to the events of tomorrow. And joining me is the Regional Secretary of Workers Union, eNCA, Mr. Putuma Manyati. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to speak to us. I know you're a busy man today, but just tell us what the preparations look like for tomorrow, the number of people that you are expecting, and whether you are expecting even some of the dignitaries here tomorrow.
Yes, for today, it was a dry run. We just wanted to make sure that whatever is planned for tomorrow happens the way we have planned. I had all my marshals here. I was taking them through the places and posting them exactly where they need to be posted. But from what we have observed today, we are ready for tomorrow. We will have the final program before the end of the day, which will definitely communicate it to you. But as far as the planning team, we are satisfied. We're also joined by JOC as well. They do their own walkabout. Whatever requirement they ask from us, we have given them. They still have one or two outstanding documents, but those documents is not something that can really collapse the event. But all in all, we're quite happy up to so far.
How many people are you expecting to be here tomorrow?
I'm expecting 25,000. And the 25,000 come from the fact that this site, Sibanye Marikana operation, which is former Lonmin, it employs around that number. Then we've got also other branches, our neighboring branches from Impala, from Charissa Mineral, Pushwet Vamenco, that pushes the number. And if you include the families as well, we're looking at 25,000. Hence, we have over 500 marshals.
Earlier when you were addressing the workers there, I heard you saying and emphasizing that they should not come here tomorrow having drunk alcohol. Why was it important for you to emphasize that?
If you remember, the comrades who lost their lives here, the 34, they were not drunk. So there's absolutely no reason for anyone to come here drunk. because this is not just a party where you just rock up at the party and you've got your cooler box and all of that. And that needs to be emphasized, because some of these young workers that were not even employed here, they might not have got that message. And the 2-year break, 2020 and 2021, might have affected that. It was just a question of reminding them what we're here for. So here we are at work, we're here to commemorate, remember our foreign heroes, so that has nothing to do with drinking.
You are here to remember and to respect your fallen heroes, as you say. 10 years on, are there specific questions from your point of view as a workers' union that remain unanswered, which you believe they are pertinent, they must be responded to by whomsoever?
Exactly, because if you look at the 10 years, there's no justice, it's just betrayal. And as AMCO, we're still saying now, how possible is that people can kill people at daylight? I mean, everyone can see who shot who, but there's never been any arrest. And we want to understand how possible is that. And we don't understand why our 17 comrades are still going to court. And those charges are very funny charges. They're charged of having killed their own comrades. And there are no answers to this. Surely somebody is behind this. There's no way you can just pursue a non-winnable matter for the past 10 years and we don't get answers to that. We want someone to answer, to say who is behind this, who is driving this thing, that try and find something even if there's nothing to find. You see, things would have been complicated if the massacre happened during the night. Then there you might not have seen, but it happened just during the day. Everyone can see who shot who.
Yeah, but Mr. Manyathi, you're going to have people criticizing you that given the tension that existed at the time prior to the massacre, those people who died, 10 of them, surely they did not kill themselves.
Yeah, but what I'm actually saying, we know who killed them.
Who killed them?
Killed them. In fact, the police killed them. It's the police that shot 34 people. And now, the funny part of it now, the police, instead of answering questions why they shot 34 people, they want to drag it to say, there were people that died before that. That is a separate matter, but the massacre, 34 people were killed and everybody knows who killed them. And in fact, even the 10, the police have the capacity and the resources to investigate and tell us what happened. It's them who should be telling us. But how can they then blame on those guys that were even at the copy? And they said, these guys shot and killed the 34.
Let me ask you about the annual commemorations. I understand that you've been holding them each and every year.
Yeah.
The involvement of the police. I heard you earlier emphasizing to your fellow co-workers saying that, look, the police and everybody else are very much part and central to this event. Have you always been working with them, considering this historical fact that we know that it was the police actually that killed your people? I don't think there's anybody who disputes the fact that the 34 people were killed by the police.
Remember, the police are foot soldiers. We want the guy that pulled the string. Somebody there is pulling the string. And I can tell you now, there is no way police would have behaved that way without being given an instruction and a mandate. That's why we want to know that who did that. However, when it comes to this event, we are a law-abiding organization. We have to apply for a Section 4. And the police are the one that must approve it. So there's no way you can then say, I'm not going to apply for a Section 4. It was just a question of explaining to our members to say, where do they fit in here? We must have, in fact, the traffic department must be there. The emergency guys must be there. Everybody must be, whether we like it or not. We are a law-abiding organization. How can you host such an event of about 25,000 people without going through what is required of you in terms of the law?
Mr. Manyathi, do you believe that there will ever be justice? It's been 10 years now, and it might easily be 20 years.
We still believe that one day somebody will tell us exactly what happened. We don't believe that, you know what, the truth has a way of finding itself out. It has a way of coming out. Doesn't matter. One day somebody will say he's conscious or her conscious will eat him up, and the person will come forward and say, this is exactly what happened.
Let us conclude with this question. The president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, has been saying that he would come here. He never did. Of course, at the time he was not in government. He was a shareholder at Lawn Mill. Understanding that there is a lawsuit that you are pursuing against him personally, do you still want him to come here? If he were to come, what specifically would you want to hear from him?
Why take him 10 years to do the simple thing just to apologize? In fact, the problem is with him. Why does it take him for so long? Why must he be pushed by other people to actually apologize? He had enough time, 10 years, where he could have at least do his own introspection to say, what part did I roll to contribute to this?
Okay, just a quick final one. Tomorrow, what's going to be happening? What time is the program starting? Who are some of the participants?
Yes, from our side, as I said, we'll be getting the program in the afternoon once National has done with it, but we'll be here on the ground as early as 7 o'clock as people coming and traffic is coming. But the actual program will start around 10 o'clock.
Any high-profile politician you have invited?
That one will come from National. Obviously, the keynote address will come from our president, Joseph Matunja, not because he is the president, but he was there even during the day. The guy you see in videos kneeling there praying, it's him. So he is actually part of that. Even if he wasn't, he didn't want to come for whatever reason, but he was part of the incident, and through God's mercy, he survived.
All right, Mr. Manyati, that's all we had time for. Thanks for yours. Well, Mr. Phuthuma Manyati, Braden, he is the regional secretary of AMCU. He's surely the man who is on the ground. But of course, tomorrow you can tell, Braden, obviously this is a matter that would be remembered not only across South Africa but across the world, because a lot of people were saying it was really a blot on democratic South Africa. But of course, not only for the 34, the 10 people who were killed prior to this. And interestingly, or understandably even so, when we tried to speak to one of the widows yesterday, Braden, they said, look, we feel that every year it has become a pattern. You as the media, just like politicians, you come here every year during this time and you're gone, and it's as if you want to tick the boxes, and we also feel that to some extent we are unable to heal. You are invading our privacy, and it's understandable because this certainly is not an easy thing, especially when you have to be reminded each and every year, Braden.
Thank you very much, Moloko Moloto there in Marikana in the north.